This video is sponsored by Neuron FX. In this After Effects tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a clean and minimal style logo animation in After Effects. We will be using some very simple techniques and some simple expression to achieve the final result, but I will also tell you about a tool using which you can create some amazing animations and logo reveals in just a few clicks. So stay tuned for that as well. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's keep it 1920 by 1080 and let's rename this to render as our main render comp, 30 fps and 10 seconds long. Press OK. Then create another new composition. This is going to be our logo placeholder, so we can call this logo and press OK. Now for the logo, you can of course use any logo that you want. I'm just going to type in NS and use this as a logo. So let's align this into the center and let's add a nice background to this. So I'll create a new ellipse and ellipse, and let's align this into the center as well. We can put this at the back and let's adjust the size a little bit like so. And for the color, I'll go into effects and presets, search for ramp. Let's add a gradient ramp. I'll move this point right here and this one right over here. For this one, I'll go with a nice yellow and orange gradient. As you can see, it looks very nice. Alright, so that is looking quite nice. Now let's go back to our main render comp. Select the pen tool and let's turn the fill to none and let's add a stroke of around maybe 7 to 8 pixels should be fine. And I'll hold shift and click to create a simple line. Then go right here in the contents, shape 1 and stroke, set this to round cap. And then go right here in the add option and add a trim path. So now we can animate the stroke. As you can see, I can press Ctrl Shift H to hide the control layers and we can animate this line. So I'll set the start property at 100, create a keyframe, go forward in time and let's set this to 0. Then go back right here, create a keyframe on the end property, go few frames forward and set this to 0. So now we have something which looks like this. Now we can adjust the keyframe to change the length of this line animation. And I think this is looking quite nice. Now let's select the keyframe, press F9 to easy ease them, go into the graph editor, right click and make sure you're working in the edit speed graph. And then what I'm going to do is go right here, select this handle and drag this like so. Select this one and drag it like so. Then let's also select this point, drag this and then drag this point as well. So now we have something like this which looks pretty nice. I think it's a bit too slow, so let's adjust the keyframe. Alright, so this is looking fine to me. And I'll change the stroke size to around 5 or 6 should be good. 5 looks fine. So once that's done, I'll create a duplicate. So press Ctrl D and let's move this point maybe right here. Press Ctrl D again. I'll move this one right here. Press Ctrl D, move this one just like so. Press Ctrl D and I'll place one right here. So now we have something like this, but let's adjust or make them a bit more random. So I'll just adjust this like so. So we have some random nice line animation. Pretty cool. Alright, I'll maybe adjust this one right here. Now, while we are on the topic of staggering these layers, I I have a really interesting tool for you that will save you a lot of time, especially when working with these kind of scenarios. So I'll go into Windows Atomex extension, and there I have the Mega Motion Pack from Neuron FX, which we will take a look later in this video. But they also have a toolbar which is really interesting, so let's check that out. So here I have a layer, let's say this one, and as you can see, the anchor point of these particular line is in the center. So if I want to move the anchor point, I can simply go right here, hover over this, and then select wherever I want to move the anchor point. So let's say if I want to move it on the top, I'll click right here, and boom. If I want to move it at the bottom, boom, there we go. Really easy and quick. Then we have the add in marker section. So if I want, I can add in an in marker here, and then I'll go right here and add an out marker right over here. But the best part is that I can select all these layers and add marker just in a single click. So just like so. Really quick and easy. This would take a lot of time if I want to do this manually or by the default option of markers that we have in After Effects. So really quick and easy. You can also add in a duration marker. So I can add in, then I'll add a mid section, and then I can adjust this to specify whichever duration that I want my animation to be in. And that way you can be much more organized with your projects. Then we have the aligned in point to playhead. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If I place my playhead, let's say at 2 seconds, and I want to move all my layers at 2 seconds, I can select them all and then click on align, and boom, there we go. Really quick. And then if I want to rearrange them, or if I want to arrange them in a specific way, so let's say this one, I can just keep on clicking it. Now the way they move depends on how much number of frames we have set this to. So right now it's set to 1 frame. So if I set this to, let's say, 10 frame, now they are going to move. Now each layer is going to move by 10 frames. So let's say if I move this one like this, you can see they move by 10 frame. If I want to realign them, I can just simply do this. I can even change the way they have arranged itself. So I can make them really random if I want to by just clicking on this random button. So really quick and easy, and there we have our lines basically. So this toolbar in the Mega Motion Pack is really helpful. Now let's go right here, double click to create an ellipse. Let's set the stroke to 0 and add a nice fill. You can keep it whichever color that you like. For now, I'll just go with a gray so we can see it more properly. Go into ellipse 1, ellipse path 1, and hold alt and click on this link tool. Double click on this link tool, and that will create a perfect circle. So here's a quick tip for you, and I'll just make this bigger. We can change the color of this layer so we know that it's a different background circle. We can call this BG. All right, and then we can go ahead and animate this basically. So let's go right here, hit P to bring down the position, create a keyframe, go back, and let's pull that out of the frame. Select this, press F9, and then go into the graph, and let's actually make this a bit more interesting. So I'll drag this handle and this one as well. So as you can see now, we can adjust this and we have this nice animation. All right, maybe I'll make this a bit slow. Yep, that is looking much better, I think. Now let's add a nice color to this. So I'll select this, go into effects and presets, search for 4-color gradient, double click to apply this, and let's go right here. Let's adjust this point. I'm going to move them out of the frames like so. And then you can again, of course, use any color that you like. I'm going to go with a nice combination of purple and blue. Something like this. Let's select this one, go with a nice neonish blue. And for this one, let's go with a purplish blue. And adjust the jitter a little bit. And there you go. So now we have this nice background. Now with the lines, I want to add a burst in lines effect, or accents you can call it. So to create this, what we can do is select the pen tool and let's create a line. I can turn on the title action save, and from the center I'll just create a line like so, and we can solo this up so we can just focus on this line and change the color as well. All right, and then I'll set the fill to none. Let's add a stroke of 6, and then we can animate this line. So let's go into the contents and go into add. Let's add a repeater. All right, we can see where our anchor point is, make sure it's in the center, and then go into repeater 1. Let's set this to 4. Go into transform repeater 1 and set the positioning to 0, and let's give a rotation of 90 degrees, so we have something like this. And let's select both of these points and just move this like so. And then I can select the path if I want to make this a bit smaller like so. And we can now go ahead and animate this. So let's go into add a trim path, and let's animate this. So let's go at the very start, set this to 100 as well, create a keyframe, go a few frames forward, set this to around 30, go back, create a keyframe on the end, go right here and set this to 30. So basically we have something like this. Now we can select the keyframes, move them a bit forward in time, so we have some lines here. All right, a bit more. Okay, select them, press F9, go into the graph, and let's tweak this. So I'll just drag this like so. There we go. Looking pretty nice. Now we can select this, press Ctrl D and press R and rotate it a little bit. Also make sure you select this, select the pan behind tool, turn on the snapping and snap it at the center, and then we can actually rotate it by 45 degrees. And let's close this. Yep, that is exactly what I want. Now we can move this a few frames forward just to add a little bit of more displacement to this, and that is looking pretty nice. Now let's select these two layers, move them forward in time, maybe somewhere around here. So we have the lines up and then in. Okay, now these lines are going to interact with our logo. So let's drag the logo composition. We can actually go ahead and turn on collapse transformation as well, and let's scale this down to somewhere around 70. All right, so now let's animate the position first of all. So I'll go right over here, select it, hit P to bring down the position, create a keyframe, go back and bring that out of the frame, select it, and actually select the background as well, press U so we can see the keyframes. Select all the 4 keyframes, press F9 again to ease them, go into the graph, and actually I want to give the similar animation to this. So let's drag this points and then drag this point as well. So now we have something like this, which is very nice. All right, so that is looking pretty good. And then when it scales out, I want to add an expression. So press S, create a keyframe on this, go a few frames forward, and let's set this to around 90, I believe should be fine. And I'll add a very simple expression in order to achieve that overshoot effect. So I'm going to just copy paste this expression. You can download this free project file of this logo animation. Link is in the description, and I have mentioned the expression in the comments below as well. So hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, press Ctrl V to paste the expression. And now if I preview this, you can see it's a bit too slow. So let's move this closer, and boom, there we go. Pretty nice, I think. Okay, so this line comes in and the logo pops up. Pretty cool. I think I'll increase the scale property. So let's set this to 100. So we have this nice overshoot, which is looking pretty cool. So we have the logo in animation, then we have the overshoot, and then select this, press Ctrl Shift D to split this, press U and get rid of all the keyframes here. And then what I'm going to do is let's animate the scale of this. Okay, get rid of the expression as well. So create a keyframe on the scale and position, go a few frames forward, scale this down a little bit and move this up like that. Select this, press F9, go into the graph and let's create a peak like so. Okay, and finally with this I want to add my text, so let's call this Design Studio. For the font we can go with the Helvetica and let's set this to bold, -10. Let's make this smaller like so and place it into the center, and then we can let's actually place it right here. Select it, press T to bring down the opacity, hit P to bring down the position, hit U, and let's go back, bring that down and set this to 0. Select it, F9, go into the graph, and there we go, looking very cool. And finally with this I want to add a particle burst at the end, so I have a video of that, so I can quickly add that as well. So let's go, and when it snaps back I want to add the burst right here. Let's move this, boom, there we go, looks pretty nice. So let's preview our complete animation. And as you can see, it's looking very nice, very simple, and looks very elegant. So to create these kind of overshoot animation, we usually need to use a little bit of complex script, but luckily I have a tool for you that will help you achieve these kind of pop-up animations, overshoot, and a lot more in just a single click. And the tool that I'm talking about is in the extension Atomx, and it's called the Mega Motion Animation Motion Preset by NeuroFX. So there are hundreds and hundreds of pre-made, ready-made presets that you can apply on your logo or whatever element that you want to achieve some really interesting look. So to demonstrate this, we can quickly create a new composition. Let's call this logo test. Press OK, and let's drag in our logo. I'll turn on the collapse transformation and scale this down a little bit. All right, and let's see if I want to add any animation from this preset. So I'll just make some room right here. All right, so before you apply any animation, one thing that you have to do is go into File, Project Settings, and then go into Expressions, and by default it should be set at Legacy Extend Script. So click right here and set this to JavaScript. Press OK. Now you can easily browse all the different animations here, and if I jump into the in and out animation section, which consists of more than 700 different animation, but it also comes with in as well as out animation. So every animation has two animation, that makes it more than 1400 different animation presets. So let's jump into this, and there we have all the different categories like the scale animation, scale plus rotate, then we have the position animation. Then in the position animation, we get top, left, right, bottom section. So you can animate it however you want. You can select any preset that you want. So I'll go with one of my favorite, that is the position with the scale and in the center. So here I have my logo. Now let's crop this logo layer by 2 seconds. So I'm going to hold Alt and right square bracket to crop that up. And then what I'm going to do is select the logo. Now whenever you hover on any preset, you get three options. One, you can only add the in animation. So let's say if I want to add this animation as an in animation and I want a different one for my out, so I can go maybe on this one and add the out animation, or I can click on this center button, which is in and out, so it will apply the in and out animation, both the same animation on one element. So let's go ahead and add maybe this one. So I'll go right here, make sure the layer is selected, go right here and add in and out. Boom. Now let's move this markers so I can easily actually see this. And now we have the in as well as the out animation. Really cool, right? And I can adjust the speed of this using this markers, so I can maybe increase the duration of my layer, move this out right here. So we have in animation, it's going to stay there, and then animate out. Really cool and easy. And now if I select the layer, in the effects and control section, I get number of different parameters that I can play around with. So if I want, I can first of all turn off the animations. I can go into the animation intensity and play around with this. So right now, if I think it's way too intense, I can bring down the animation intensity to, let's say, maybe 5%, and it's going to be a bit more subtle, as you can see. And then I can adjust the animation height. So if I want, I can maybe increase that to 5. So it's going to be something like this, or maybe bring that down to 1 was fine. Then we have the animation direction. So I can even change the direction. So right now it's animating from the top. I can select the direction, maybe something like that, and boom. As you can see, it looks pretty damn cool. We have flip axis as well. Then we have animation at in marker, so we can change that as well. We can also set continuous offset, a number of different things. But if you don't want to jump into that, you can just simply go back and browse a different animation and add that. Talking about the animation presets, as you can see right here, there are a number of different categories, and you can add opacity, scale, and position. You can add opacity, scale, and rotation. So there are a lot of different presets in this. We also have the 3D animation section, so we can add 3D scale, rotation animation, 3D position, scale, and rotation animation. So everything is here. Then we have special animation as well. So if you want to add these kind of animation, which can be really cool if you are creating some logo animation. So let's try them out. So maybe I'll add this one. This looks pretty damn cool. So I'll add this one for the in. And let's actually preview this. Let's see what we get. As you can see, looks pretty cool. I think it's a bit too fast, so I can increase this duration, and let's see. Yep, as you can see, this looks really nice. And then I can add a different out animations. I can go into this and let's add maybe something like this one. So let's see what we get. Pretty cool, right? Here we have our in animation, and here we have our out animation. So really interesting, and really quickly using this presets, you can create your own logo animation. And not only just logo animation, you can add this kind of effects on a complete explainer video scenes and animate them really quickly. Then we have middle animation. And these animations can be added to elements. If you have too many elements into your scene, you can add this kind of subtle animations, which are really helpful. And it can get very tedious if you want to add this kind of smaller animation on every different element into your scene. So really quickly, you can, add this, and there are a number of different things that you can do. Then we have the group animation section. Here we can add animation to a complete character, which is really cool. I'm not really good at character animation, so I'm gonna not jump into that. But yeah, you have that as well. So all in all, I think this is a very good pack and has some really interesting animations that you can add to your scenes, hence saving you a lot of time. So I definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check it out by clicking the first link in the description below. With that said, that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do let me know in the comment section below, and you can also follow me on Instagram at dope.motions. If you want to watch more logo reveal animations, I have a complete playlist on my channel, so I highly recommend you guys to go ahead and check that out as well. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.